Greetings and welcome to another episode of His Will for Your Life. I am your host, Sherry Levon Harris, and I have joining me this evening is Amal Amri, and she's going to talk to us about loans and grants. Please stay tuned. Please like, tag, and share. Also, have your pen and pad ready to take some notes and also to ask some questions. It is very helpful if you like and ask questions and comment, what brings up our algorithm. So please help us in doing so. We'll be right back.
His will for your life with Cherie Harris. This is your weekly Wednesday 7 p.m. podcast. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Informative, hot topics, testimony, interviews, along with your weekly guests and more. And now here's your host, Cherie Harris.
Welcome back. And here we are again. I have joining me tonight with the discussion of loans and grants is Amal Amri.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Amal. As Sherry said, I'm actually a relationship manager for like a little over a year out now with Berkshire Bank. I come to Berkshire Bank actually with a 15 years experience in banking. Started back in 2009. Started back in 2007. Let's not forget that with Citibank as a teller, and I worked my way up all the way.
Awesome.
But I've learned a lot, and I'm here to help. And throughout my career, I was blessed and honored to help a lot of people, from like as a basic as opening their first checking account, like youths, maybe about high school accounts, or even custodian accounts for little ones as little as like newborns. But 2 years actually I spent in City, and then after the 2 years I got actually a promotion to join JP Morgan Chase as a relationship banker, licensed relationship banker. I stayed there until like about late 2019, so it's about 11 years with them. That's when I had actually decided for another promotion to go in and join Merrill on the investment side. So spent about 3 years in Merrill, all in New York, actually. City, JP Morgan, and Merrill experience as well, all in New York, Long Island. Lived there for 14 years. But then after COVID, after the lockdown, and then the remote working environment, my husband and I actually we were looking to kind of like upgrade, because I'm working from home, he's working from home, kids studying remotely. The little townhouse we owned wasn't good enough anymore. Started looking, in Long Island, New York, Long Island. But to be honest with you, we couldn't afford anything there, because no longer can afford anything there, because a little fixer upper for what we were looking for, you can't find less than 700, and needs like at least another 150 of work. So we decided, you know what, let's just explore other options, outside New York. That's when we decided, you know what, let's pack up and go to Connecticut. We ended up here actually the summer of 2020, and then here we are. We love it. Kids like it. The best choice we made ever. Better life, better style, and in terms of home and work balance, because we're not sitting in traffic for hours.
Right.
We're not paying like what $14,000 in property taxes for the little 2-bedroom townhouse. And then the schools are much better here. So I'm glad we made that choice, and then we moved to Connecticut. As I said, since then I've been working with Berkshire Bank as a relationship manager. This role actually here, it's what we call them. What we call us actually the bankers without walls.
Mm,
It's not like the traditional banker position where they sit in the branch, and then you have to go to a branch to see them whether to open up an account or get a debit card, get a credit card, or just discuss an issue, get a mortgage, get a loan, stuff like that. No, we're mobile bankers.
okay.
In another word, we go to out in the field, and then we go to visit clients. Basically, mostly I work with doctors, business owners, pretty much busy business owners. Who don't really have time to run to the branch, drop everything and run to the branch to make a deposit, to open an account,
Right.
things like that. So we work remotely. We go to them, and it's on a relationship basis. So we do everything from as a basic transaction as ordering a debit card, getting a credit card, opening a savings account. So everything is done via either the phone or email, so the person don't have to leave their place of business to take care of their banking needs. We go to them, we do everything on the phone, as I said, and then everything is remotely. But again, it's all based on relationship.
Good
I'm
evening.
happy to be here today, and I'm happy to share my experiences. I'm happy to share all the information I have with everyone on this meeting today.
Great, great. Well, I have some questions for you, and I'm quite sure some others may have some as well as we continue on to speak. So we're talking about loans and grants. I have your overlay and have the wrong date on there, so we're just going to go with this. What information do one need to provide when applying for a loan or grant?
Okay, so let's say for loans, we have categories. There is a personal loan and a business loan.
Okay.
On the personal loan side, it's actually we evaluate. It's all personal information, no business involved. So basically, basic client information, which is their name, their date of birth, their social security, their social, their address. If they're working, their the employer actually name and address, of course their phone number, all based, and then valid IDs. Pretty much you have to be 18 years old older to apply for any kind of loans, whether personal or business. So with the personal also, again, with the loans comes credit. To be eligible for a loan, you have to have enough credit, because basically it depends on the banks. Some banks need the credit score to be at least 620 and over to apply actually and approve a loan. Those are for the unsecured and secured, because now the secured, I would just say secured loan, we'll talk about, for example, a car loan. At least we have, when we say secured, we have a collateral. And secured loans would be, for example, a college student loan, overdraft protection, a personal loan. So those are all unsecured. So these are, like, I would just say they're more strict when it comes to profiling, when it comes to underwriting. We're more strict. We want, higher credit scores. We don't want any negative reporting on the person's credit score when it comes to bankruptcy, when it comes to any unpaid bills, any collections. That's a no. The minute there's at least one there, it's automatically a check. We don't want to do business with these people, unfortunately. Because again, they're unsecured, and then they look at that file. That's exactly what, it's really your story. It's you. It's the credit report. With that being said, we have to really keep an eye and then actually work on having a clean credit report and a higher credit score. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes we can't help that. COVID was the perfect example. A lot of people lost their jobs.
Right.
A lot of people got sick.
Mm-hmm.
When they lost their job, of course, there's no income coming.
Mm-hmm.
They got behind on paying their bills,
Right.
right? People gotten sick. They couldn't continue going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up in hospitals, right?
Right.
And then if you're not able to work, you're not going to collect. And then if you don't have a savings, you're going
Mm-hmm.
to hurt. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, you're still going to go seek, health care that you need.
Right.
But however, when you get the bills, you're going to struggle to pay it back.
Wow.
We've seen that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it goes on the credit report. And then some banks actually, when they see that, and then we're kind of like have a little wiggle room, little discretion, especially around that COVID time when we see something that it's there, as long as they give us the proof they lost their job and things like that, we can just work with them to a certain extent.
Okay.
But again, it's really, really important for everybody to just keep their record clean and then keep their credit score as high as you can. With that being said, also, we see a lot of fraud going on.
Wow.
So the person gets their identity theft. Their identity gets stolen, and then those hackers or those thieves, I call them thieves.
Right.
They just use their information in the wrong way, and then they either apply for credit card, they apply for car loans, they do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the person doesn't find out about it right away, so it stays on their credit report. And it's just hard to fight that. And it's because the person really has all that information. And also not only hard to fight it, it's hard to catch it. When talking about that, we have to be careful on where and who we share our sensitive information and our personal information with. It's a big deal these days. And especially, these days right now, everybody is looking for easy money. And then, again, protect our identity, protect our credit report, work on getting our score higher. And then certain, based on the age, I understand like an 18 years old, it's not going to have a higher score right off the bat. They have to build it, and in a way to build it it's, I tell parents actually from, when I was in the retail banking, the way to help your children, especially before they hit the age to go to college, you're going to need student loans. And then a lot of them, they get denied for student loans because they don't have enough credit. What I tell parents is when they're like in middle school, when they're like 13, 14 years old, what I tell them, get them ready from now. Get them like a student checking account, right? And also get them a student account for them to just be able to just kind of like manage their finances and have an idea how to deal with the bank account, how to use a bank account, how to use a debit card, instead of like them going away with it until like they're ready to take off, and then they're far, I don't know, in another state, and then they're calling you in the middle of the night, Mom, Dad, I'm stuck. This bank card don't work. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. So I was getting into the habit of getting every parent and child trained from as early as 13 years old, working with JP Morgan Chase, because we had that opportunity to open up checking accounts for, youths as little as 13 years old with their own debit card, and with the parents, of course, name on it to kind of like manage, help, and keep an eye out. So with that checking account, I highly recommend all the time. And then I was successful pretty much 90% of the time talking to parents about the importance of building their kids' credit, score at an early age, be able to kind of like carry a loan on their own for college without having the parent to co-sign there. So how we were doing that is parents having a credit card. I'm pretty sure every parent have one in their wallet that they use and pay off, all the time. So what I tell them is you don't have to get them a credit card on their name. Of course, they're going to get denied. You just add them. Okay. You add your child as an authorized user on that same account. So basically, he or she doesn't have to use that credit card. She doesn't have to have it on her or on him. The mother can just add the name of the child and keep using the card the way he or she uses it, on an everyday basis.
Okay.
And then as long as she's using it, she's generating a statement. The key is to generate a statement, because if it's not generating a statement, it's doing nothing. So if it's generating a statement and then getting paid on time, whether in full or just a minimum, it starts reporting on the child's credit
Okay.
report. I've seen it and I witnessed it with many kids that by the time they were ready to, you know, go to college, they
Uh-huh.
had enough credit built for them to just kind of like get a student loans and not have to need their parents co-sign for them. Um, that's when when it comes to just a student accounts. And then we carried this conversation. We started with loans, now we're all over the place. That is all important information.
And
So again, secured and secured loans. So the secured loans, it's always either like a mortgage. We're talking about a mortgage. We're talking about a home equity line of credit, because we're taking that collateral, the house as collateral. Car loan, again, it's the car as collateral. Say any loan that it's secured by a tangible asset, we call it secured. And as I said, it's still, we have here at Berkshire Bank, we have to be at 620 or above to grant those loans, whether they're on the personal side or on the business side. The business side, add into the person's credit report. The business gets involved too. How long you've been in business, what type of entity, what's the score, because business also, as everybody know, that the businesses also come with a score, cash flow there, if the overheads, a lot of things. And again, that's also, there is on the business side, there's secured and unsecured, loans. So for secured loans, we're going to use the business assets, equipments, buildings, everything that it's in the name, tangible, that it's in the name of the business, including inventory, including like investments. A lot of times that we kind of like secure the business loan or line of credit using the investments accounts that business has either at the same bank or elsewhere. So it's really a lot of ways to just kind of like secure a business. And again,
okay.
on both sides, whether business or personal, a credit score, credit report is key, because we are just a number.
Right.
We are just a number. We do actually here at Berkshire Banks, we have a lot of ways to help when it comes to consulting, because before we apply for a loan, we kind of like pre-screen. So pre-screen is just simple as asking questions. We have a set of questions that we ask, and then and then a certain minimum that we have to that we have to meet in order to see, okay, this is a good prospect for a loan or not. If they're not, or if they're still, as we may say, like especially when the business has been when the person or the business was not established for less than 2 years. When they're established for less than 2 years, we're like more rigorous. We have a separate department that we send them to, which is called the SBA, to see if they qualify for. With that being said, that's more risk pretty much.
Okay.
So the SBA actually takes 50% of the risk. The bank takes 50% of the risk. But with that, with this program here, unfortunately, we don't finance the loan at 100%. The business owner has to come up with 10%. Pretty much has to have skin in the game.
Okay.
But the process is a little lengthy. But even though it's lengthy, it has more chances to just get approved on that side, because the bank is not taking 100% of the risk. More paperwork involved, more digging into the client's credit report and assets and things like that, credit score, credit history, and then all the financials and things like that, and involved there in a kind of like a more rigorous way.
Okay.
But at the end, with this SBA loan, if everything is there, and then if we just kind of like everything looks good, the approval rate is pretty high. It's more than pretty much about 80% for less than 2 years.
Okay.
Um, in terms of grants, I'm sorry, maybe I'm taking up a lot of the time. I'm not leaving room for any questions. In terms of grants, here at Berkshire Bank, again, I worked for Merrill and I worked for JP Morgan Chase. I didn't see much there for grants, even though they're big banks. You know, they were not really socially involved.
Mm-hmm.
With Berkshire Bank, yes, we are big time. So for nonprofits, everybody can apply online on berkshire.com. We have grants right now. We have a pool of every year we have a pool about like maybe 100,000
Mm-hmm.
that we have to give out. We just have to get the right hand.
Okay.
So if anybody interested can go to berkshirebank.com and then they can just put in their application there. Just nonprofit. Any company that it's nonprofit, they just have to fill in the application. Very self-explanatory. It's just their mission, what they're doing, what they're looking for. And then we discussed that on a monthly basis. And I've been delivering a lot of checks recently that range from 2,500s. Minimum is like about 2,500s all the way to like about $50,000 in grants.
Okay. Thank you. What
Welcome.
types of loans and grants are available to individuals and businesses?
Okay, for the grants for individuals, again, we don't have like grants for individuals, but again, it's nonprofits,
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit, companies. That's the way to go. And then when it comes to individuals, I would just say we have a scholarship program that's also available on Berkshire.com for like youths for college, for college financing. Um, I don't know the details about the scholarship, but it's there on Berkshire.com. If
Okay.
anybody interested can reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to get more details for them. But like on the personal side, the grants, unfortunately, we don't have any.
Okay. Are there special programs or incentives available for businesses?
Um, with Berkshire Bank or in general?
Berkshire Bank or in general?
Yeah, Berkshire Bank, again, we're part of the SBA.
Okay.
I worked actually again with the previous big banks. They were not doing that. We were not part of that, that program. If you're in business for less than 2 years, unfortunately, we don't lend to you.
Okay.
We just refer you to the SBA, .gov program online, and you're on your own.
Uh-huh.
Here at Berkshire Bank, we have a department, a whole department, separate department that it's only dealing with SBA loans. We kind of like own the issue from start to finish. We're supporting you. We tell you exactly what to do. We provide you the list of the documents you need to provide.
Uh-huh.
We can set up meeting to come to you or you come to us, and then we just kind of like go over all your financials. We also help you have like, a business plan. We really help to get you up on your feet and then to just kind of like help you make your dream true through the
Okay.
SBA program.
Awesome.
Mhm.
How do you ensure that a loan or grant funds are used appropriately?
Great question. So we trust our, clients, and then most of the time, again, me personally, we work with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We lend to, I'm not going to say well-known, companies. We do a little due diligence, of course, online, and then we ask and things like that before we grant the grants, because again, we want the grants money to get to the right hands. We
Right.
don't want anybody to abuse or anything like that. I'll give you examples. Like recently, I personally been dealing with the Girl Scouts, with just regular business owners that are personally manage their accounts. So they're known to me, right? Um, we always love to, because it's the word of mouth. We always encourage and recommend that the person, before they actually apply for the grant,
Mm-hmm.
to have a kind of like add or say who they're working with, or
Mm-hmm.
how they learn about a grant, and then
Mm-hmm.
what are they looking to do with the grant. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty much lay out the whole, you know, um, intention or the whole, purpose of the grants. And then again, we have people that are working in the bank. They're doing the due diligence to make sure the money it's not wasted and then it's getting to the right hand.
Awesome. 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 Are there any additional fees or costs associated with taking out a loan or grant?
The grant, it's free. It's really no fees associated. You don't have to be banking with Berkshire Bank to qualify or to get the grant. That's not everybody, this is not really out there. People think, oh, you have to be a current client in order to qualify for the grant. Not at all. But once we give you that check, of course, we encourage you to just kind of like explore and then look at what we have to offer, compare it to what you're getting out there in your bank based on the fees and all that stuff. But there is no fees, and then there is not a requirement to just be to have any accounts with Berkshire Bank. With the SBA loan program, as I said, other than the 10% you have to put there is some fees, yeah. But the best part is that you don't have to come up with anything upfront except the 10%, which goes towards the loan. But everything gets factored in, into your loan. So that's a big relief for starters.
How long is the process?
It depends on how fast you provide the paperwork. It can take actually from 3 months to, I've seen a process take over a year and a half, because the person was really just starting, had a bad credit, had a lot of negative reporting on their credits report. So we worked with them through counseling and then through helping them to just have a plan to pay off the debt and then to just kind of like clean up. We did real total cleanup for credit report, and then we were able to get we worked with him to just pay off some of the debts. His credit score went up a little, and then until he was able to kind of like get that loan. That process took like about a year and a half, but again, it was all worth it.
Okay. Are these grants only for nonprofit with 501c3 accreditation, or what statuses, or is it LLCs?
It's totally nonprofits. It has to have that certification. Yeah.
Okay. Great. That was a quick answer.
Mm-hmm.
Can organizations whose status of having a 501c3 been revoked, can they apply now?
Again, they can try, but again, there's the fact that we have those people in the back, of the room. They're checking. They're gonna put it online and then see, okay, this is revoked. And it's going to get denied. They'll just ask, okay, just go get it reinstated and then come back for your grant.
So you talked about earlier the 25 to 50,000. Is that the minimum and the max, or can it go beyond that?
It all depends on the project. It all depends on the mission. If we have more, we give more. And then especially because we have budget for each year, you can only apply once, but you can apply on a recurrent basis. You can get that grant every year. But again, if we have funds left, because we normally try to just give out at the end of the year, kind of like use all the funds we have to not carry over anything. And it all depends on how many grants actually application we had, and how many we approved, and then how much is left in the pool.
Okay. Are there any additional fees? No, that's not the question I wanted to ask. Are there any outside organizations or additional organizations that can assist with these grants or loans?
With the grants, I'm not sure if there's any, I can't only, sorry about that. I can only speak for Berkshire Bank. Again, I haven't really got a chance to work with any other organizations that, help with the grant. but I believe there is on the small business, the SBA.gov, there is some like, grants out there that are available to certain businesses. So
Okay.
more details would be on SBA.gov. Yeah, for
Okay.
SBA.
SBA.gov.
Uh-huh.
All right. So another question I have for you is, how long do your organization have to be in existence before you can apply?
For a loan, as I said, you have to, we prefer 2 years
Okay.
or more to go for regular loans.
Okay.
But then it doesn't mean that if you're less than 2 years, you can't apply, because that connection with the connection with the SBA department that we have, so we can actually bump it to the SBA if it's less than 2 years.
Okay. And how many states is Berkshire Bank in?
Basically, we're just now in Connecticut,
Okay.
upstate New York, and then Boston. So
Okay.
basically, northern and eastern, part of Connecticut, and then upstate New York.
Okay. Can anyone apply through your bank if they live in a different state?
They can, because okay, like let's say we have grant, like as long as we're in the footprints,
Mm-hmm.
we have actually grants application coming from Rhode Island. We have grants coming from like Boston. We
Uh-huh.
have grants coming from New York, and then we have grants applications coming from Connecticut. As long as it's within our footprint, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to take some questions from our audience because they're actually quiet tonight, and I know they are listening attentively. But for those of you who have businesses, whether there's a nonprofit or profit, and those who are pastors who may be listening, you may want to inquire about some loans or grants as well. So, how do you help churches in terms of loans and grants?
With churches, actually, because then and then I forgot to mention that, I'm sorry. Every nonprofit organization, they
Mhm.
get free accounts.
Free accounts?
Yep, there's no minimum balance, right? No monthly fees. As long as you just provide that 501c certificate, you're labeled nonprofit, we're looking for you.
Really?
That's it. Yep. So you get free business accounts. And then from there we can work our way up. Like once we have that relationship, we can just from there, either loans, either grants, we work it from there.
Okay. What is required when applying for a grant or references?
A grant, nothing is required, to be honest with you, other than your online application, and then you complete that online application and submit it. The process takes about, like I would just say, between 3 to 4 months. It depends on the queue. Towards the end of the year, that's when we accelerate it, because we want to close the books, and then we want to kind of like distribute all the funds that are left there in the pool. But again, you just submit it in the queue, and then we normally meet every month. The members of the foundation, I'm actually one of them. We meet, and then we discuss every single application, who knows who, what they're looking for. They back office actually put in their words there, that if they see anything suspicious, or if they don't, because we vote. It's all based on a vote too among us. Yes.
When is the best time to apply?
Anytime. It's
Anytime.
anytime, as long as calendar year from January 1st to December 31st. But I don't recommend waiting until the end of the year to run. Good luck if you have any money left. I tell my clients, get it out as soon as you can. I have actually a couple of my clients who did send their application in December for 2023. They're like, we want to get in first and get the first pool. We don't want to wait. So there is really no time frame or deadline to just submit it, as long as it's between January 1st and then December 31st. But again, we don't want you to wait too long for the funds to be depleted, and you'll have to wait until the next year. And again, you can apply every year.
Okay, great. So, how can people reach you?
Um, it's I have the work cell phone number. Maybe you can share it with everybody on this meeting. It's 516.
Hold, hold on just a
Sure.
minute.
Mhm.
I do it all. I need a producer. Anybody out there who want to help me produce? That would be great. Okay, what is your telephone number?
It's 516. It's New York, Long Island area code
Huh?
225
Okay,
0193.
0193.
01, yep, 0193.
Wait a minute. What? Okay, say it again.
516
Mm-hmm.
225
Yes,
0193.
gotcha.
Yep. And then the email address, you can share the email also if you that's helpful.
Yes.
It's AAMRI
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
at berkshirebank.com. BERSHIRE
Gotcha.
bank.com.
Yes. So there's the
But
information.
there, yep.
Yeah. Contact her, especially if you're a church or nonprofit, get free banking.
Yeah, absolutely. We're after the nonprofit. We're looking. I'm going out there on the field, outsourcing, and then looking for nonprofit businesses at all the times. Because again, we're socially bank. We looking to just help lend a hand and then just give back to our community,
Right.
especially the nonprofits.
Thank you. What is out there for businesses with an LLC?
Um, with an LLC now, it's we have the basic account. Actually, it used to be free. It's pretty much now we're making a lot of changes because of to stay competitive. All our accounts used to be free on the business side,
Uh-huh.
but now we start in January. Unfortunately, is no longer the case. If it's not a nonprofit or it's not an IOLTA account, there's a minimum requirement of $1,000 there in order to avoid the $9.95 a month.
Okay. So that
Um,
1,000 has to remain in that
yes,
account.
yeah,
Okay. Sometimes.
9,000 has to remain there on a daily basis in order to qualify. And again, it comes with 500 transactions a month. It comes with a relationship banker, like a mobile banker, let's call it like that. We work on a relationships, and basis, which is like normally once we open the business account, we look to add the personal relationship in there too. So basically, we have everything for the same client, and I will be managing that account. And we do everything remotely. Person don't have to come to the branch, don't have to drop what they're doing to come to the branch and get that account started. We can just connect via telephone, and then we can exchange all the paperwork and all the necessary information via email, get the account started, and the person can either stop by the branch and make that deposit, or wire the funds to the bank account. It's like too many, like there's different ways to get the funds into the account, but the best part is that person don't have to visit a local branch. That's when I get involved, and that's what my job is. So we
Great.
do everything remotely.
Great. Personally, can you take on any more accounts?
Yes.
Okay.
This is exactly what I do. I'm out in the field. Anybody who's again busy, I travel pretty much all over Connecticut. I cover all Connecticut. I've been in, as far as Willimantic, Hebron, Lebanon, Mansfield, New Haven, everywhere. Whenever a
Everywhere.
client is interested to just join the Berkshire Bank, I'm there for them. And then again, always me personally, I like to just have that initial meeting face to face, just to put the name and the face together. Of course, get the IDs, make sure the person is whoever they claim to be. And then from there, I take everything and run with it. everything can continue remotely there. That's what I tell. I've been in few meetings because we're looking to open up few branches in New Haven, and then I've been to few meetings there with prospects, and they're like, "Oh, we would like to join Berkshire Bank right now, but you're not there. How do I, do banking if you don't have a branch?" I asked them, "Are you a heavy in cash? Do you have to go to the branch on a daily basis? What your banking looks like?" He's like, "Oh no, I do everything online. I don't go to the branch. I have direct deposit and I use my, cards for everything." I said, with that being said, you don't need to just kind of like go to a branch. Whether you're in New Haven or anywhere else, everything can be done remotely.
Awesome. Um, have you ever regretted giving someone or a business a loan or a grant?
Not that I know of, to be honest with you. Thank God we do enough screening. We do our due diligence. That's why instead, like, especially for the loans,
Uh-huh.
we are very, very strict. We have rigorous underwriting. Sometimes, some people was like, "Oh, you don't want to give out loans. You do that, you do that, you do that." No, but that's why we have that process in place to make sure we give loans, and either we have enough collateral to go after, God forbid the person can't pay,
Mm-hmm.
or um, just kind of like, if it's unsecured, we want to make sure that the person is able to pay back,
Right.
making enough money to pay back the loan. But luckily, to be honest with you, unless there is like extreme or circumstances, but I said people lost their jobs, or people got into like health issues, excuse me, and they can't work and things like that. Unfortunately, I've seen cases where cars, like, I'll give the example of car loans.
Mm-hmm.
Cars get repossessed, houses put out for foreclosures,
Wow.
and then even businesses, we have actually the right to go in and then take that collateral back, whether it's inventory or if it's equipments, or even if it's vehicles. We go and we take those back to kind of like get our money back.
Even if it's payroll?
Say that again.
Even if it's payroll?
Payroll?
Yes.
No,
They have the money for payroll?
no. It actually, we have, it's like, let's say when the person payroll, the cash, we don't kind of like block the cash or put a lien on the cash.
Okay.
But whatever we use as collateral, we
Mm-hmm.
have 100% right to go after it.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not the IRS. We're not going to go and freeze accounts.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Again, some are on here quiet, but just continue to just share, about the grants, about the loans, the differences between loans and grants.
Grants, actually, it's just, let's call it like that. Like, my clients know who's going to turn away free money. So grants, it's
Absolutely.
free money, free
Mhm.
money. We don't expect you to, pay it back. You just use it, as expected, and then use it for the purpose you stated on your application.
Mhm.
The loans, no, it's you have to pay it back, whether it's a line or a loan. It's because it all depends on the kind of loan you get. If it's a personal loan, yeah, we just give you that lump sum, we deposit into your account, and you'll get a bill every month for a set amount, a fixed amount to pay back every month. When it comes to lines actually, they're revolving. And in other words, it's like the lines, it's like a credit card. You use whatever you pay for whatever you use. So basically, we charge interest online, and then on every monthly statement, it all depends if it's a regular, not a home equity, line. So it's basically some of the interest and some of the principal that you have to pay back on a monthly basis. When it comes to home equity loans and mortgages also, it's a fixed amount that you pay every month. And with a home equity, it's a line of credit. It's that it's um, here with, and in most, all the banks, there's a draw period. There's a draw period and then a payback period with the home equity. At some point, it locks. So at some point, it's not revolving, even though you keep paying on it. It locks. Here at Berkshire Bank, it's 20 terms, 2010, we call it. 20 is the life of the line, but then you can only use it for the first 10 years. And then after, the coming year 11, we lock it. You're not going to have access to to pull in funds out of that line anymore. That's when we expect you to pay back all the funds that you used for that 10 years. And then mostly for the first 10 years, it's interest only. You have that option. The minimum is interest only, but you can always pay more if you want to just kind of like get rid of it and then not have to hold a larger balance, throughout the years. But then at year 11, I've seen the payments, like, let's say it triples because we kind of like take the balance left in the principal and we divide it into 10 years. That's why everybody sees like their monthly bill kind of like sometimes triples in size, because that's when we're expecting you to pay us to start paying our principal back.
Okay. Are your interest rates competitive?
Right now, community banks in general, yes, we're very competitive. Very competitive in terms of, lending rates, and then also competitive in terms of, deposits. I was at a meeting this morning at the, with the legislatives team, and then rates actually, deposit side, as high as 4.75 of 6-month CD. Now, because the Fed has been raising rates, so the deposit rates is also going along with the mortgage rates. Prime right now, it's at 7.75. With that being said, we've seen our home equity line of credit and our regular line of credit and our car loans, also going up as high as, because it's prime plus a margin, so it's as high as for some clients based on their credit score, credit report, and then their risk as high as 12% in terms of lending. But at the deposit side, it's also great. My phone actually doesn't stop ringing. About people who are looking to just kind of like earn some interest on their money now at the right time, because we haven't seen these rates for a while. So,
Right.
4.25 for liquid money, which is regular savings account on the business and the personal side. And then on the CD side, meaning we lock the funds for, a certain period of time. It's as high as 4.75.
Okay. Wow. So, what do you prefer best? It's just a personal question. Doing what you're doing now as a relationship manager, opposed to when you first started out in the bank.
Again, throughout my career, I loved actually kind of like making, a change in people's life. I've seen it all. I worked in retail from like little, as I said, as little as a teller who was, dealing with the cash drawer, counting money every day and things like that, to now managing a portfolio of like about 30 accounts altogether between $1 to $20 million clients. So I've seen it all. I've done it all. The best part is that I'm helping people, grow financially, helping to educate people, financially, make a difference in their life. That's what a lot of people are missing these days, because unfortunately this subject, the financial subject, is not taught in school in the right way. And I'm not going to say it's a taboo. Everybody is afraid to just talk about it. But to me, now that I'm here, and then throughout the 15 years in banking, I've made a lot of difference, like in a lot of people's life. And I can tell you, there's times when I was, I cried with clients. It all depends if, it depends on the situations. But that's that's the best part, and that's the biggest reward, to be honest with you. It's when I see that I got to someone's heart, I
Mhm.
was able to help them, I was able to relieve them,
Mhm.
especially
Mhm.
in the moments of griefs,
Right.
working in the branches, when I've seen elderlies actually losing their partners, and then the partners was taking care of the finances for years, and
Wow.
then these widows now don't know where to start. They're grieving, and then they're
Mhm.
stuck. At
Right.
some point, they come to you sobbing, and then they don't know where to start and what to do.
Mhm.
And instead of like going to a total stranger and then asking for help, I'm glad that they used, because of the relationship I developed with them, they were kind of like able to come and open up to me and trust me
Mhm.
to just work with them and then lead them till the end. That's the biggest reward. And right now, even though I'm not in retail anymore, I take every occasion to just lend a hand.
Okay.
I don't mind when I see the need, I just run for it.
Okay. Awesome. That's
Hmm.
good to know. You're genuine too. I can
Yeah.
feel that and see that. You mentioned earlier about the 13-year-old, as early as 13
Yeah.
year old
Mhm.
being able to be an authorized user or just to open up an account.
Uh-huh.
So when would be best to do that? Not when you have bad credit, but when would be a good time to do that for your children?
Okay. As of 13 years old, you can just open up an account.
Okay.
Again, we don't hold you accountable for any credit because you're not on legal age that we're going to run a credit on you.
Okay.
But as the minute you reach actually 17, I believe that's when, you're going to have to start putting applications, college applications. And then again, if you don't have enough funds, or if you didn't, have a scholarship, or, again, college is not free.
Right.
Somebody have to pay, or a loan has to be, loan application has to be taken.
Uh-huh.
And being as young as 17 years old or 18 years old, you don't have any. So that comes handy, actually. It will help then if one of the parents had added the child
Uh-huh.
as early as, I just said 14, 15, 16. The earlier the better. You don't
Uh-huh.
want to wait until 16 and then they're going next year, because it will be just a year there.
Right.
I would prefer to just have the parents add them as early as you can. I
Okay.
have my daughter now, she's 11 years old, and I
Okay.
added her at when she was 9.
Okay.
Uh, there was a time when she had to travel overseas by herself with my mom, and I'm not there.
Uh-huh.
And then I needed to make sure she's able to just pay for her expenses, because she was just spending 2.5 away, 2 months and a half, her and her little sister, away from us, myself and dad. So
Uh-huh.
what I did is I just added her name into my credit card, and then I handed it to her. It came in her name,
Okay.
but it's actually pulling funds out of my account.
Right.
So this is an example I'm giving you. There is really no age minimum, but the earliest, the better. And
Okay.
again, you don't have to give it to the child to misuse it. Because again, if they're not educated enough, if they don't know what's how to use it and when to use it, and then especially before they use it, they have to have permission,
And they
right?
need to understand the value of money and not credit
Exactly.
card is
Yeah.
just free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's critical to have the conversation with them, if you're handing it to them, what to do and what not to do. And then again, it wouldn't harm no one if you should just take it, cut it. If you don't want them to have a hold of it, you don't have to tell them.
Right.
You don't have to tell them, just to kind of like not have them beg you, oh, ma, can I borrow the car today? Can I
Uh-huh.
borrow my car today? Have a separate bank account for them, checking account, and then just
Okay.
feed it as needed. And
Uh-huh.
that's a card they can use and they can train using.
Okay.
I would not recommend giving them a $20,000 credit card and then just let them run with it.
Absolutely.
They might, again, they're kids. They might misplace it. They might not really take good care of it, because they don't know the value of money yet. But
Right.
again, you don't have to tell them. You can do it behind their back
Mm-hmm.
and just add their name. Get the card. That's what I tell the parents. Get the card. It's going to get sent to you in the mail. Take it, cut it off, put it away somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want to kind of like even put it away and you don't want to see it, just cut it off because it's the same account number like yours. It just with his or her name.
Absolutely.
And as long as you use it, you pay it back. It reports to your child's credit report on a monthly basis, like it does to yours. And it again, disclaimer here,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to hurt both ways.
Mm.
Like, let's say you take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You use it, and then you forget to make a payment.
Mm.
And it's past 30 days, 30 days when it gets reported, it's going to report negatively again on his or her credit report.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm assuming, and I trust all parents who would not do that to their kids.
Absolutely.
They're responsible parents.
Absolutely. Only responsible parents should do this. That's the disclaimer.
Exactly.
We have a question from Paula. She says, my son is in college and there are always people coming on campus offering high interest rates credit cards. How do they build up credit if they don't apply for them?
They can actually 18 years old or 17 years old, you still have that possibility to add them to your existing card. Let them know, please do not ruin your credit. Do not take a credit card yet.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a job. You don't have the means to pay it. Don't ruin your credit at a very young age.
Right.
If they're concerned and if they want to build their credit report, the parents can do that. Can easily help them with adding them as an authorized user to 1, to 2, to 3. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. The other option is also for over 18 years old is the secured credit card.
Okay.
With the secured credit card, you have more leverage on how much is put on the card.
Okay.
Most of banks actually offer that, but again, this is 18 and over.
Mm-hmm.
Most it's online and then in the local banks they offer it. The way it works is you lock, actually, let's say you want a 200 credit card.
Mm-hmm.
For your child, you want emergency funds. Maybe you want just a $200 $300 credit line that they can use as an emergency if they get stuck somewhere.
Right.
So you're gonna go to the bank and then let them know you want to open up the secured credit card. You're gonna take that $300 out of your hand or out of your account. Right. They're going to lock it as, again, collateral.
Okay.
To secure the payback portion. Okay. So they're going to take that, lock it into an account that you don't have access to. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to send you that credit card. Usually secure credit card comes with an annual fee. And then that's another great way to help your child build their credit report. It's not only the child, any 18 years old over who wants to boost or repair their credit after a lot of damage, or since they don't have any credit because they're still too young, this is the way to go. The secured credit card.
So this is for anyone who want to build up their credit.
18 or over. 18 or over.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, they just have to choose how much do you want it for. It can go up to $10,000 as long as you come up with that $10,000 up front and you give it to the bank or to the entity, the company, because there's a lot of companies now online that offer the secured credit card. But personally, I would prefer go into a local bank and have that, established there. At least you have a live person you can speak to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
a great way to build credit also. Yeah. You can have both for youths, 18 and over. Yes, you can have that secured credit card and also have their name as an authorized user on the parents' credit card. That's the free way, to be honest with you. The free way is to add them into your existing credit cards. But if they want their own and be responsible for paying it and all that stuff, and it's all in theirs, I would not have a problem going towards the secured one, but let them come up with their own money. That way, they're hard owned. They're going to use it wisely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I teach my son, I'm teaching him the value of money,
Yeah.
how not to be wasteful. So when he
Yes.
has something and he wastes it, I make him replace it with his money.
That's it.
That
Because they're
to
going to make
help them to
mistakes. They're
stop
kids.
being wasteful.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're kids. They're going to make mistakes. Maybe once, twice. As
Yeah.
long as they learn from the second time, that's good.
Yes. 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 Well, thank you so much for joining us and offering all this great information. This was a wealth of information, and we thank you for it. As we're closing out, it is 8 p.m. We're going to let you have some last minute questions, and you can give a takeaway from all we talked about tonight as well.
Thank you for having me. It's been it's a rewarding program. Then I can just still make changes in someone's life. That's exactly what I'm looking for, and that's exactly the outcome, the best outcome from this meeting. Anyone this meeting, feel free to call me. Don't hesitate. I'll be more than happy to help. Anywhere you are, you can call me. We can just set up appointments to meet in person if you still, if you need really, like let's say if you have too many, topics or too many questions and you want to see me in person, I'll be more than happy to meet you as long as we are like in the Connecticut footprint.
Mhm.
Feel free to shoot me an email, call me. The phone number there. It's again the Bankers Without Walls. We're normally available 24/7, but not that I get a lot of calls or a lot of work on the weekends, but in on emergency basis. So feel free to call me anytime, and I'll be more than happy to help. Again, um, when it comes to finances, the early education, the earlier the better. And do not, this is a takeaway, come to the professional. Don't kind of like ask questions to the neighbors, the friends.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, everyone specializes and then knows what they're doing in their field.
Yes.
But when it comes to the your finances, make sure please you're just talking to the right people, because if you ever get the wrong information or misleading information and you take that step, there's no way to correct it, especially when it comes to loans, lines, and credit report, because this is something very, very valuable
Mhm.
that you want to think twice before you make a move.
Mhm.
So speak to your local banker. Walk into any bank. If I'm not sure, like there's a lot of people who don't bank, but if it's a banking, question, again, feel free to walk into any bank. Everybody is more, you will be more than happy to just answer all your questions. You don't have to have an account, but just for education, yes, I would take the time to walk into a local branch and then ask the professionals whatever questions you have, and don't rely on, as I said, neighbors and friends and things like that. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who know what they're doing, but the majority, it's just they give the wrong information.
Yeah, they do. They
Hmm.
do. Because I also heard that there were grants out there for single parents, um, and learned that that isn't quite true. Uh,
I never heard of it, to be honest with you, before, but I'll find out. This is, you're giving me like a follow up now for me. I'll just go
well,
online and Google it.
when you find out, let me know.
Absolutely. I'll definitely let you know. I'll
Yeah,
share. Sharing is caring.
Sharon is caring. Well, thank you again for joining us. Thank you all for watching. Please come back and meet us here Sunday, February 19th at 6 p.m. for What's Love Got to Do with It for our panel discussion. And please disregard the date that I have up there. I didn't change the date for you, but it's the 15th. And thank you so much for joining us. And we'll have you back.
Oh, thank you for having me again, Sherry. Appreciate it. You all have a good night.
You too. Good night, everyone, and thank you for watching. And we'll talk to you all soon.
Please join us again next week for another riveting, informative segment of His Will for Your Life podcast with Sherry and her special guest,